Eating foods that are nutrient-rich is very important for the people you support. Nutrient-rich foods are those that give individuals the most vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients for the fewest calories. In fact, eating nutrient-rich foods is one of the healthiest ways that people can eat. In other words, nutrient-rich foods give the biggest bang for the buck. Processed foods like cookies, chips, candy, or soft drinks are considered nutrient-poor foods because they have too few nutrients and too much of the things we don't need, like added fat, sugar, or sodium. These foods also tend to have a lot of extra calories most people don't need. To live well, base your daily eating plan on a variety of nutrient-rich foods from each of the basic food groups. Choose those foods that contain the most vitamins, minerals, protein, and fiber, instead of foods that are higher in fat, added sugars, and sodium. Let's take a second to talk about sodium. Sodium and salt are not the same things, but sodium is part of salt. Sodium can be found naturally in foods. However, most of the extra sodium we eat is found in processed foods like these. So how can you tell if a food is nutrient-rich? Fruits and vegetables with vibrant and dark colors are more nutrient-rich than those that are light-colored or pale. For example, red leaf lettuce and spinach are more nutrient-rich than iceberg lettuce. Sweet potatoes are more nutrient-rich than white potatoes, and broccoli is more nutrient-rich than corn. Choosing fruits and vegetables in a variety of colors every day will help make sure the people you support get all of the nutrients they need. Similarly, grain products that are made from 100% whole grains are more nutrient-rich than those made from refined grains. 100% whole grain products also have more fiber in them. Fiber is known as roughage or bulk and is found mainly in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and dried beans, peas, and nuts. Fiber isn't digested by the body. It moves through the stomach, intestines, and colon before it passes out of the body. It might seem like fiber doesn't do much, but it plays several important roles in maintaining health, including digestion, disease prevention, and weight management. Fiber makes bowel movements more normal. Fiber attracts water in the bowel and increases the weight and size of the stool and softens it. A bulky stool is easier to pass, decreasing the chance of constipation. Because people you support may take certain medications, tend to be less physically active, and may drink less water, constipation can be a serious problem. Eating high-fiber foods daily is particularly important for these individuals. Fiber also promotes health. A high-fiber diet may reduce the risk of developing hemorrhoids and lower the risk of small pouches forming in the colon, called diverticular disease. Some of you may have dealt with these issues with the people you support. This represents the length of the intestines in an average person. Food has to pass from the mouth, through the stomach, and all the way through the intestines before exiting the body. Now you can see why eating enough fiber is important to move food all the way through the digestive system. Fiber found in dried beans, oats, flaxseed, and oat bran may help lower total blood cholesterol levels and help control blood sugar levels. It can also slow the absorption of sugar, which can help improve blood sugar levels for individuals with diabetes. Fiber helps with weight loss as well. High-fiber foods generally require more chewing time, giving the body time to sense that it is no longer hungry, making overeating less likely. A high-fiber diet tends to make a meal feel larger, keeping the body satisfied for a longer amount of time. High-fiber foods tend to have fewer calories and more nutrients than low-fiber foods. Let's compare a high-fiber and low-fiber meal. Each plate has the same number of calories. Look how much more food is on the high-fiber plate. Doesn't it look more appealing than the low-fiber dinner? Which would be more satisfying for the people you support? Most people need to eat a fiber-rich diet each day to get the health benefits we discussed earlier. A word of caution: when increasing fiber in the diet of someone you support, do so gradually and over several weeks. Adding too much fiber too quickly can cause the individual to have increased intestinal gas and abdominal bloating and cramping. Adding fiber gradually will help the natural bacteria in the person's digestive system to adjust to the change. Because fiber is so important, food companies are adding it to cereals, breads, yogurt, and many other foods. This large amount of added fiber may upset the digestive system of some of the people you support. If this happens, cut back on foods with added fiber and add more foods that are naturally high in fiber. It is easier for people to tolerate high fiber foods when they are eaten throughout the day with a little in each meal and snack. Also, it is important to encourage individuals to drink plenty of liquids, especially water, throughout the day. Fiber works best when it absorbs water. Sometimes people need a little extra help to get the fiber they need. Before turning to fiber supplements, give this power pudding recipe found on the website a try. Add a portion of power pudding to any breakfast meal or provide it as a snack for the people you support. Now let's talk about whole and refined grains. What's the difference between them? Any food made from wheat, rice, oats, corn, or other grain products in the grain group, bread, pasta, oatmeal, cornflakes, and grits, are all grain products. There are two main types of grain products, whole and refined. Whole grains contain the entire grain kernel. These have more fiber and nutrients. Examples include whole wheat flour, bulgur, oatmeal, cornmeal, and brown rice. Refined grains have been highly processed, which takes out most of the important nutrients. The ingredient list and nutrition facts label found on the back or side of most food packages makes it easier to tell which foods have whole grains. Let's look more carefully at labels found on the front of food packages. Often food companies will put labels on the front of food products to identify which ones are good sources of certain nutrients. Some are truthful, and some are just hype. Some food label claims sound healthy, but are misleading. For example, the label on this bread says it has been enriched. This means that some nutrients were taken out when the grain was made into flour. However, the food company only adds a few of the nutrients back. Unfortunately, the nutrients that were removed are better than what was added back. Let's take a look at split-top wheat bread. This sounds healthy, doesn't it? The bread is dark, so it must be made from whole wheat, right? Not so fast. Sometimes food companies will add food coloring to bread to make consumers think it's just like eating whole grain bread. Even though they add coloring to make it look healthier, this split-top wheat bread is just like white bread. Misleading, isn't it? That's why it's so important to look for 100% whole grains on the ingredient label. Here are a few more misleading examples. This loaf says it is multi-grain, and this other bread contains 12 grains. Surely these are healthy options. Maybe not. The first ingredient on both labels starts with enriched flour. Look for breads that have 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain as the first ingredients listed on the label to make sure your choice is healthy. Now let's move on to nutrient-rich proteins. The individuals you support need to get the most nutrition for the fewest calories from foods in the protein group. Meats that are lean have less fat, fewer calories, and more nutrients per ounce than fatty meats. When planning meals, choose lean meats and skinless poultry more often. Eat a variety of protein-rich food choices by serving fish, beans, and eggs. Nuts, seeds, and nut butters are good sources of protein as well, but are higher in fat. However, the types of fat found in these foods are heart-healthy and can be eaten in moderation. How can you tell which protein foods are nutrient-rich? For lean cuts of beef, look for the words loin or round in the name, such as tenderloin, sirloin, or round steak. Lean pork choices include pork loin, tenderloin, centerloin, and lean ham. Choose poultry without skin and fat, and ground beef that's 90 to 95% lean. Select fish rich in healthy omega-3 fats, such as salmon, trout, and herring. Use dried beans, peas, and nuts more often. They're a great source of protein and other nutrients. Let's look at a few popular protein foods that are higher in fat or sodium. What could you serve instead that would be a better choice? Bologna. A better choice of sandwich meats would be turkey or lean ham slices. Chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are highly processed and have a lot of fat, sodium, and extra calories. A better choice would be a homemade crispy baked skinless chicken breast. An easy, delicious recipe that is low in fat and sodium can be found on the website. Hot dogs and hamburgers. We all like to grill out and have picnics when the weather turns nice. For healthier options, choose turkey hot dogs or turkey brats instead of regular hot dogs. Using 93% or leaner hamburger or even veggie burgers will significantly cut down on the amount of fat. Healthier alternatives can be found for all of our favorite protein foods. So let's spend a little more time talking about how to get the most nutrition and less fat out of protein choices. Cut away the fat you can see from meat before cooking it, and also take off poultry skin before you cook it. Throw away the skin. It's low in nutrients and high in fat. Bake, broil, or grill meat, poultry, and fish, and instead of frying breaded meat like chicken or pork, bake it. Drain off any fat that appears during cooking. Throw away the fat rather than using it when you cook other foods. Flavor your meat, poultry, and fish with herbs or use low-fat sauces. Always prepare dried beans and peas without added fats. Use these tips when preparing foods with the people you support. Make it an informal health lesson by explaining why doing these things makes their meals healthier. Let's move on to another favorite group, dairy. Foods in the dairy group include fluid milk, cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, frozen yogurt, and fortified soy milk. Make smart, nutrient-rich milk choices by serving fat-free or 1% milk, low-fat yogurt, and cheese made from part-skim milk. We need 3 servings a day of dairy products. Let's compare some dairy products. Which would be the best choice to serve the individuals you support? Fat-free versus whole milk versus chocolate milk. The best answer is the fat-free milk. Fat-free milk, also called skim milk, has the same amount of important nutrients, such as calcium and vitamin D, as whole milk, without the added fat and calories. The people you support may enjoy chocolate milk, but because of the added sugar, chocolate milk should be used as a treat or for special occasions. Fruit on the bottom yogurt versus low-fat plain yogurt. The best answer is the low-fat plain yogurt. The fruit on the bottom yogurt has added sugar and is more like jam than added fruit. Add your own fresh or frozen fruit to plain yogurt for a healthier option. Part skim mozzarella cheese versus cheddar cheese versus Swiss cheese. This isn't an easy question because there are a couple of different ways to look at this. First, the part skim mozzarella is the lowest in fat and calories, so it's a great choice. Because Swiss cheese adds so much flavor, you can use just a small amount. Cheddar cheese is very high in fat and calories, so it shouldn't be used as often. When shopping, use the nutrition facts label to compare the amount of fat and added sugar of products you're interested in. Choose the dairy product that has less fat and less sugar. Here are some important points to remember from this session. Nutrient-rich foods have the most vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients for the least amount of calories. Fiber is part of food that isn't digested, but is important in preventing constipation and adding to good health. Whole grain products are more nutrient-rich than refined grain products. Lean sources of protein and dairy are more nutrient-rich choices than high-fat sources. Choosing nutrient-rich foods more often is the healthiest way to eat.